Welcome everybody to the 5 days of football, which is your complete Comanche High School football coverage right here on KCOM. And what we're going to do today, we're going to do some superlatives. So, quick note, Alan and I, we have not seen each other's answers. We did not talk about this beforehand. He's going to hear my answers firsthand. I'm going to hear his answers.
He actually got a hold of me first thing this morning and said, "Hey, here's what I want to do." And he's like,
Yes.
And yeah, we hadn't even talked till we got here.
Spur of the moment idea, but we're going to go over about a baker's dozen worth of superlatives. Explain why we picked who we picked, and we'll go from there.
I don't know about explaining. I'll do the best I got. I mean, I got my reasons in my head, but it's a little bit harder to explain.
We'll see if that conveys the words.
I will tell you this, though. This was the hardest, I guess, questionnaire I've ever had to do or anything like that. Filling out job applications. This was hard because we are a really good team offensively, defensively. I mean, there's so many kids we can mention for so many different ones, and that's just, it was almost impossible. I ain't gonna lie.
It was tough. I struggled with it, and I came up with the question, or the superlative.
Yeah, and I've still got some that I ain't even got answers for, but we'll make it up on the fly here.
All right, Alan. So here's what we'll do. I'll call it out. I'll let you go first, and then I'll come in with my pick afterwards, and we'll talk about it.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So very first one is we're going to go preseason offensive MVP.
And I would probably get in trouble by 95% of the community if I didn't say this one. I'm going to go with running back Sawyer Wilkerson for the Indians. I mean, the offense, in my mind, is going to go through him. How well we do on the season is going to go through how well Sawyer runs. I mean, there is some others, don't get me wrong, but I think, unfortunately, only a junior.
Yep.
All the weight is on his shoulders on how far Comanche is going to go this year.
That's right. So I too picked the junior running back, Sawyer Wilkerson. I figured we were both going to match up on that one, but I mean, the stats pretty much speak for themselves last year. Got to carry that over to this year. It'll be interesting to see after losing 2 offensive tackles, and I mean, now the secret's out. So teams will stack the box.
You're exactly right.
So,
yeah, we talked about that in the last scrimmage. If I'm a defensive coordinator for another team, I might be putting 10 in the box.
Yes, definitely. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this year when people aren't expecting the unexpected. So we'll see. All right, preseason defensive MVP. Who you got?
I'm going Pearson Sarles. You know me at heart. I am a defensive end guy. That's what I played in high school. I watched the defensive ends. I'm honestly, I mean, what he does as far as containing the outside edge, sending the runner back in, his ability to get to the quarterback when they pass. I've watched him all last year, and him and Aiden Fishback on the other side. But Pearson Sarles is going to be my preseason defensive MVP. I think he's going to get tons in the backfield, tackles for losses, and I think he's 10+ sacks on the year. I really do.
I like the pick. So right from the second one, we're going to start differing on our answers. I went senior Baylor defensive back commit, Tyler Beatty.
And you can't go wrong.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think that the stats will wow you, because I don't think he'll be tested on his side of the field as a corner. I think he will shut them down as much as possible. And so, you probably won't see 8 interceptions or anything like that, but I do feel like his play on the field will reflect MVP-worthy play. Just maybe the stats won't reflect that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and he'll probably contribute more on the offensive side than he will the defensive side, just because, like what you said, teams are not going to throw his way. He's just too good of an athlete. He is in high school level at the 3A. He is a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
So his stats defensively are not going to just sit there and go, wow.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, that's how you get MVP awards too, as well.
Yeah. So this next one, Alan, we're going to say preseason breakout player of the year. And what I mean by breakout player for those watching, it's a person that could have been on varsity last year, that even played some, but this year is maybe their year where they become more of a quote-unquote household name, if you will. So lead us off.
I'm splitting this one up because you didn't tell me what the rules were, so I've kind of got 2.
Okay, let's hear it.
Season-wise, all together, Chance Boswell. That's going to be my preseason, newcomer, kind of your he was on JV last year, coming up this year on varsity. I know the coaches are excited about him, but I see him stepping into a linebacker role. I mean, the kid's, he's a big old hoss. I mean, he's a big old boy, and he's athletic. And he got injured the scrimmage before last. But no chance then. I'm sorry, I take that back. But Gonzalez, Easton, yes, Easton is who I originally wanted to put in here, but he might not be back till the start of district, maybe a little bit later. But I think when he gets back into full swing, you'll see him also at that linebacker position and as a backup running back some come into the field. And he's kind of right there with me. I think so. The first half of the year, I'm going to give it the chance, and then when Easton gets healthy, Easton's going to come in.
I like it.
And be that kind of that. Oh, hey, I think if he was not behind Sawyer, if he was at any other team in the district, he would be their starting running back.
Yeah, definitely. He had averaged quite a few yards a carry last season.
I did. Every time he touched it, he got a touchdown every 3 times. I'm just saying.
All right, so my breakout player of the year is going to be junior Caden Davis. Boo Boo Davis.
Boo Boo.
And I know I called his name a lot last year when we were up there in the booth. But if you remember, he was backup quarterback last year. Didn't really see the field too much offensively. Did see the field quite a bit defensively. But the reason I got him as breakout player, I think he's destined for a big year on offense. It sounds like they're gonna put him in the slot. Take maybe Miguel's old role, and he has a lot of speed that we saw last year on kickoff returns. So I expect him to have kickoff. I don't know if he's doing punt return, but if he is, I expect him big there, and then I expect him big offensively. So that's why he's my breakout player.
Yeah, I mean the Albany game, he really showed out. I mean, and I think that gave him that hump last year in Albany when he had that big touchdown run. So,
all right, so we'll move on. Now let's do. We can call it Rookie of the Year. We can call it Newcomer of the Year. But this is somebody that didn't play last season that's on varsity now.
I know where we're at. All right, gotcha.
So I'll let you start with that one.
Are we talking? I'll let you look at my notes here. Right here?
Yes.
Is that where we're at? Okay.
Well, that could be one. I mean,
and I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. Well, I'll keep him. I mean, I got to go back to Chance Boswell again, or
he was on JV last year.
Or I think I'm gonna go Boswell. I hate to try to use the same person twice, but
Yeah, sometimes you just can't help it. Well, I am going to go Colt Schwartner. And he was on JV last season. I actually coached this kid for a few years in a row in multiple different sports. You talk about somebody that's fast. He has got the speed. I think he's playing receiver this year, so I feel like if he sees the field, he'll make the most of those opportunities. And so we'll see what happens.
I know his sister is fast, so I'm sure he's fast too.
Yeah, he is very, very fast.
And you'll hear me in Blake throughout the year. Blake coached a lot of the boys in all the CYC sports. I coached all the girls, so you'll hear me a lot of times. Well, his sister was really good.
So this next one is one of my favorites, Alan. This superlative is first guy off the bus, the guy who passes the eye test physically when you want them the first one off there to intimidate that opposing team when they see him.
I was going to go Coach Escobar, but I don't think he's intimidating.
You got Joe.
I got Joe. No, in all seriousness though, just the guy for me, and we had during our interview that will be played later this week, Tyler Bates. I mean, he just the height. I mean, and standing next to him, and I mean, I know I probably got maybe about 2 inches on him, maybe an inch, but I felt like I was looking up to him, and he's gotten bigger since last year as well.
More defined.
Yeah, more defined and everything, and he steps off, and it's just kind of like you can just see athlete written all over him. Basketball, track, football. He's probably good at water polo. You name it, he probably can do it with ease.
All right, so mine, actually, honestly, I could have put this guy down as the newcomer as well, but I saved him for this, is Kasdan Bedford, the transfer from Hamilton. I believe just from my eyeballs, I don't know what he's officially listed on the roster. I'm going to say about 6'3", 250, 6'4", 250. That Thetford bloodline is no lie. You know, a lot like many collegiate and even NFL players with that last name that he's related to. And man, I mean, that kid, he's a tough one, you know. And I think that he's definitely the first guy off the bus in my book. So that's why I went with him. All right, so we'll move on here.
Yep.
Unsung hero on offense. And this, when we say unsung hero, we're talking about somebody that, you know, may not get all the stats, or, you know, maybe not like a running back that's just racking up those numbers, but a guy that contributes, that's solid week in and week out, that, you know, one of those blue collar guys, as Escobar would say.
And your blue collar definitely, for my player, definitely defines them. And tight ends never get any love.
Yep.
You know, and Aiden Fishback is going to be my offensive unsung hero, because as a tight end, you know, you may catch a few passes, but you're responsible for blocking, getting downfield blocking, and then, you know, ball's thrown to you, you know, you better catch it. You know, you only get maybe 3, 4, 5 yards, 6 yards, or just enough to move the chains. But Aiden Fishback, I look for him, honestly, between Beatty and then them stacking the box. He can get in behind the linebackers. He's quick enough, he's strong enough also to block, but get in behind the linebackers, move the chains for the Indians all year. And he did that quite a bit last year, move the chains for them in big situations. So,
that's an extremely smart pick. You know why?
Because you probably
Because I picked it as well.
I'll make sure you didn't
That's your
write it
best
down
pick of the day so far. I love it. All right, let's go unsung hero on defense. Obviously, same thing, opposite side of the ball. Who you got?
Defensive wise, unsung hero, or are we?
Okay. Yes, unsung hero. I'm sorry.
I've got two of them again. I know, but I'm going to go Zeke Medrano.
Okay, I like it.
I mean, I think Zeke, he's got moved to cornerback. So, you know, he was at linebacker, and then he told us in his interview he got moved back out to cornerback. Mm-hmm. He's going to be tested a lot. They're not going to throw the collar side.
Yeah.
So Zeke's going to step up, and I think people are going to be like, hey, you know, and he's going to put a hit on somebody with if they do catch it. And, you know, and he's nonstop motor. But then the other one is Caston Thetford. He's going to be at the other defensive side. That, you know, they're going to double team Sorrells a lot to that side. That's going to lead him having the lane to get to the quarterback and pass situation. He's just a big old boy. Once he gets that definition down of what his job is on the defensive end, and I already saw it at the scrimmage. Excellent job, and I think he'll be also an unsung hero on the defensive side as well. Caston Thetford and Zeke Medrano.
Now you said a name, but you didn't pick it. Pearson Sorrells is my pick for unsung hero.
I had him as my MVP in defense, so I mean, you know, I think Pearson will be all right with that too.
So we differ there, but I like it. I like your picks. I think you can't go wrong with any of the three that we mentioned there. Okay, this next one I think should be a no-brainer after talking to some of these kids, Alan.
Okay.
Preseason leader of the year.
Zeke Medrano.
Yeah.
Hands down. I think, what do we got, 80 out here right now behind us as they're practicing? 80, 85, something like that. I think Zeke will even tell you too. I think all 80 who's out here practicing right now will tell you Zeke is the
leader.
The leader.
Yeah. A vocal leader.
Yeah, vocal leader every which way. That one wasn't hard at all.
No, not at all.
That was actually the first one I answered when you sent me the questions.
A lot of these kids, you know, we asked them who's the leader, whether it's by example or vocally. And, you know, a lot of them were like, well, I'm trying to lead by example. But none of them wanted to be the vocal leader. Zeke was the only one mentioned.
And, you know, people haven't got to see our other interviews yet, and they'll be coming this week here on KCOMradio.com. You know, just look on the Facebook page, I guess.
Yep.
YouTube as well that Blake gonna put on there, but they haven't got to see the other interviews yet. But all of them, you know, like you said, we're just sitting there saying how that, you know, that, well, I'm trying to be more vocal. I wonder, I wonder if they all in the huddle and one starts talking to he's like, no, I got this, and then start, you know, I mean,
it's my huddle.
It's my huddle. I got it.
All right, I'm interested to see who you got on this one. I kind of have a feeling we're going to have the same person here.
Okay.
And if so, that's an extremely smart pick. Most fearless player.
I mean, that was probably my second one I went to right away. Leighton Welch. I don't know who you got.
I got Leighton Welch, and I like I said, extremely smart pick.
Yeah, okay. Well, you saw my notes then, but no, Leighton. I mean, I know, you know, quarterback. but it's not. I'm not going to say just on the quarterback side. He's also going to play safety as well. But he's a dual threat quarterback in every sense.
Not afraid to get hit.
Not afraid to take the hits, pull it down, run it, or give the hits. I mean, and I know, if he was hurt, you wouldn't even be able to tell he was hurt.
Yep.
And he's not going to let you know he's hurt either. So, I mean, just a tough kid. I mean, he's fearless. He really is. And that's what you need out of your quarterback. One of the leaders of the team and a senior.
Without a doubt. All right, so this next one I kind of struggled with because you could really put a lot of people in there. And that's the highlight reel. Who makes the biggest wow plays week in and week out throughout the season? Who did you put?
This is going to surprise probably you, probably everybody else at home. Zayden Teller. I've watched the kid at the practices, a couple practices. I've watched the kid at this last scrimmage. I know he might not start off on varsity, but he's too good of a talent. If he does get his chance to come up to varsity, he's a highlight reel every time he touches it.
I like it.
Same, he's a freshman. We're blessed to have Sawyer for 4 years. Zayden Teller right behind. I mean, and if you get a chance, go watch a JV game as well. The kid is electric when he touches it. I mean, he went, I want to say, probably 4 handoffs, almost 100 yards at the scrimmage. And, every time he touched it, it was like, even the kids up in the booth with us were like, he's gone. And so that's probably an odd one because he's not on the varsity roster right now that I've seen. But Zayden Tello, I mean, he's just too good. I think he's going to get some handoffs this year. And I think he's going to be a highlight reel. We're just going to be like, wow.
I like the pick. So like I said, I really struggled with this one because I think you could put down a lot. But I'm going to put Kyler Beatty because, number one, I think when he is tested on defense, he'll make the most of it. And as I said earlier, I don't see him being tested a lot. But then on offense, his numbers last year didn't really match his sophomore campaign. So I expect him to really go all out this year offensively and really, turn some heads. Because, as we said, he's committed to Baylor as a defensive back, but he also loves playing wide receiver. Yeah. And so I think he'll make the most of that opportunity when given the chance. You also got to think Miguel's gone, who, hauled in a ton of passes last year.
He probably would have been my, if he'd been on the team this year, he'd probably been the one, the highlight reel.
And so I'm going to go Kyler on that one. All right.
And to Kyler, real quick, to Kyler's credit, our 2 years ago as a sophomore, the 1-9 campaign, well, teams were just blowing us out. So we passed a lot. He did get those stats that way. And I'm not saying by no means he got the stats because, but, because you turned around and said, well, last year, when we were blowing the teams out, we were running the ball. You had Sawyer, so of course his opportunities weren't nowhere near as much as what he had.
Definitely.
And I think you're right. I mean, but at every game, even if it's 4 catches, it's like it's 100 yards. Though.
Yeah.
2 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, all the guy does is score touchdowns when he catches the ball.
All right. These next two are going to be schedule related. Game of the year.
Well, all right. And I looked over at your notes, and I see, I can care less what happens in preseason. I only care about one thing coming out of preseason. Well, 2 things. No injuries, no major injuries. And are we getting our offense and defense down? Are we getting, the kids, we getting it down. District's where it's all at, so I just went district on this one. And you said game of the year. I put Jacksboro.
Great pick, Alan. Very intelligent pick because Jacksboro is my answer, too. I think, it's going to decide the district race.
It will decide the district race. Second game of the year. We went to their place, put a whooping on them.
Yes, and they're going to be out for revenge.
And they're going to come to our place. And I'll tell you a quick story. This is on tape. So, talked to some of the people up there when we went to Jacksboro, and they asked me straight out. They said, "Well, Sawyer Wilkerson is as good as what everybody's making him out to be." I said, "No, he's not. He's better." And then what he did, go rush like 300 yards to Jacksboro.
Big game.
So I wasn't lying to him. I said, "No, he's not. He's better than what they were making him out to be."
All right, Alan. So our next one, toughest game of the year. Not necessarily game of the year, but what you think is going to be the toughest game of the season?
Of the season, like how you put that, of the season, because I saw your notes there, but I'm a district guy, so I went with Millsap. It's going to be the toughest game of the season, just because Millsap does got some transfers in from Rock.
And they're picked 3rd, I believe.
Picked 3rd in district, and we have to go to their place Luckily, it's early in the year, so but it's our farthest trip of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
We go in there early. Maybe hopefully we come out of district with injuries or anything. We go in fully healthy, but it's early in district play. Millsap always seems to play Comanche tough in every sport.
Yeah.
So
they did in basketball.
I think that'll be our toughest game of the year, but I am going to say it's a win, but I think that'll be our toughest game of the year.
All right, so toughest game of the year for me, the defending state champions, Albany. Of course, this year they're coming to Comanche. The thing that worries me is you got Albany and Toller pretty much back-to-back. And I think you could go with either one of those right there, but I'm going to go with Albany just because they're the defending state champions. Comanche, of course, won by 3 points last season. Albany was missing their starting quarterback and running back in that game. Well, those guys are gone, and the guys that we faced last season will be who we face this season. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough one. The good thing for Comanche is they do get it at home. Mm-hmm. So, it's up to the fans out there to really create that home field advantage.
Yeah, and I don't know when the homecoming is. I don't have it on that schedule, but I don't think it was Albany.
No, I think it's
Toller. I think it's Toller.
Is it?
I don't know.
Maybe it is Toller.
I think it's Toller. But I want to get your take real quick, Blake. I know you want to get on to the. Do you have any more?
What?
You got one more?
I think we got one more, right?
I want to get your take on this real quick though, because I've had some people ask me, well, we're playing these 2A teams. You're playing two top 15 teams in 2A in the state.
Yeah.
Toller's no joke with their running back. Him and Sawyer matched yardage for yardage and touchdown for touchdown all year last year. And then, the defending state champions in 2A. So, I don't care if it's 2A, 6A, whatever. Competition's good competition. And Toller and Albany are good competition.
Yeah, I think, if they were, and I shouldn't use this term, but like if they were nobodies, they were 0-10, then that would be different. But as you said, they're good teams.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with them playing 2A. I think that, they're both very talented. They obviously both gave Comanche a run for their money, especially Toller last season. So no, I don't have an issue with that. Now, if it was two teams that were at the bottom of the barrel, back-to-back Class 2A, then that's a little bit different. But at least they are, very, very good 2A teams. So. All right, so last but not least, most outstanding player, and this is going to be the guy that just week in, week out goes out there and just wows you, that just is solid contributor, does anything and everything, and helps them win ball games. And it's another hard one.
It is. I don't know who you got. I didn't see who you got. I got to go Sawyer Wilkerson because the weight of the world's on his shoulders.
You know what? Great pick.
Yeah. Okay. So that's who you got. Okay.
That's who I got.
Yeah. It is what it is. He's the. Our MVP, offensive MVP, and it's kind of just going to follow him. But with that being said, though, I want to throw in Dalton Salinas and Cosme Gonzalez in there as well, because in order to get those yards rushing, what do you have to do? You have to block up front. Now, yes, it takes 4 people to tackle Sawyer. But, so I was kind of leaning to Dalton Salinas and Cosme Gonzalez as well as my.
I guess you could say the O-line.
The O-line, yeah. It really. So, I'm looking for big things out of Dalton Salinas, Cosme Gonzalez as well. But, I think as an offensive lineman, hey, we'll give Sawyer all the credit all day long. If he rushes for 2,000 yards, it's because you're lineman. And, don't get me wrong, Sawyer, it takes 4 people to tackle as well. But, yeah, so Sawyer Wilkerson, we'll keep it short and sweet.
There you go. All right. And what we'll do is, obviously this is all preseason. We're just a couple of days away from kickoff over in Brady at 7 o'clock. And if you can't make that game, be sure to tune in KCOM 1550 AM 100.1 FM or online at kcomradio.com. But what we'll do is we'll come back at the end of the season. We'll revisit this. We'll probably be indoors.
That's what I hate about video. I'll be like, you were way off.
We'll redo it, and we'll compare our answers then, and then we'll also go back and compare to these answers and see. And it'll be fun to see what all changed, and if there was any surprising players that really stepped up this year. Because honestly, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. There will be. It's a deep roster. We got some one-way players this year. Mm-hmm. You don't get that very much at the 3A level, so. It'll be an exciting season. It'll be, I would think, unfortunately for the fans, they get me and you again on the radio and on the broadcast. But you'll be hearing a lot of different Indians' names probably this year as well.
Definitely. All right, Alan. Well, like I said, we'll visit it again at the end of the year. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. For the 5 days of complete Comanche Indian football coverage right here on KCOM. Don't forget, we'll have player interviews all week. On Monday, we posted a 30-minute interview, a deep dive with Coach Jesse Barr.
Good job.
And we talked about more than football. that's for sure. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already, and stay tuned to KCOM both online and on the radio
for
more coverage.
Coach's Show.
Thank
Coach's Show. Yeah.
Thank you.
Friday, what?
10 a.m. 10 a.m. right here at the high school. It's a dome, I believe, and we're going to mix it up a little bit this year, do things a little bit differently, but I think you guys will like it, so be sure to tune in for that. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
And we'll be live on Friday night to kick off at 7, so we should be on there by 6:40.
Yeah, 6:40.
6:40 on
We're
KCOM.
hoping. It is the first setup, so give us time. But yeah, 6:40 is what we're shooting for. But me and Blake, we got to get back in the groove of setting it all up. But we got it down where we got it set up within 5 minutes last year, so we'll get it. But
slowly but surely.
All right.
All right. Well, like I said, be sure to tune in all week long. KCOM, 5 days of football, Comanche Indian football. You don't want to miss any of it.